So, any other questions?
Yeah, one more quick thing, and then I know you guys got other callers and everything, but I just wanted to ask real quick: do you guys, is morality objective or subjective? I can never get a direct answer.
I think it's difficult to answer because it's kind of a complicated problem of philosophy. Although I think if Matt were sitting in this chair, he would just say, yeah, it's objective. But
Right.
I think what a lot of atheists would say in general is that it's not objective in the sense that that there's one guy who decides for everybody what's right and wrong, but it is objective in the sense that that there is definitely a way of measuring whether people's lives get better or worse based on particular actions that you take.
Okay, well,
and that and that as far as you can measure the effect that your actions have, it is objectively true that some actions are better than others.
Okay, but guys like the president of the American Atheists, David Silverman, would actually disagree with that. He believes that it's all subjective.
Okay. I don't think I agree with David Silverman if that's what he's saying, but I think that if we had a more nuanced conversation, we'd probably agree on a lot of other stuff.
Did you happen to see that debate between him and Frank Turek?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, because in that debate, he said it's all subjective. He was saying people are being immoral, so who are they to say that, one group's right, and who is someone else? For example, let's say you have Mother Teresa on one side and you have Hitler on the other side. They both believe they're doing good. Who's right, and how do we determine that if it's just subjective?
Okay. Let me ask you something.
Right. Okay.
Do you believe the story of God showing up and telling Abraham to kill his son?
Yes, and he was testing him.
Okay, but isn't the point of that story in the end that it's a good idea to be willing to kill your son if you think God's telling you to?
Okay, God makes the universe, God makes the rules.
Okay, so would you be cool with God showing up and telling you, do you have a son, by the way?
No, I'm only 19, I don't have any kids yet.
All right, would you be cool with God showing up and telling you to kill your father?
I can't answer that question. As Ray Comfort said, that's not even something worth answering.
Well, but it was worth the Bible going into, wasn't it?
Well, what if I disobey though, and now I'm in big trouble afterwards?
Well, yeah. But doesn't that bother you? And isn't there more that you evaluate morality by than just? Yeah. If this lesson of the Bible was correct, I would think that the question of whether to kill your father or not wouldn't even be a question. It would just be, God said it, I believe it, no problem.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. Okay, let's assume right now when God made the world, he said, this is my standard of right and wrong, before he even created humans or anything, okay? And he does that. Who are we as humans, with a very, very limited understanding to tell the all-powerful, all-knowing creator he is wrong?
Well, I don't know. Could God, when the world was created, maybe have flipped around everything we understand as conventional morality? So God could have said, rape is always right. Great. Thumbs up for God. Kill as much as possible. Theft is the best thing ever. Do you think that God could have made that decision at the beginning of the world?
What, that stuff's good? You mean like stealing and rape and all that?
Yeah.
God could do whatever he wants, I guess.
So isn't that pretty subjective when it comes to morality? Isn't that just some guy's whim, basically?
Well, if most people, would agree, not everybody, there's people with conditions and whatnot, that most of them believe that, murder and stealing and rape and all that, most of them agree it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to really be taught that it's, when I was 5 years old, I never had to be taught that stealing was wrong. It was I just knew.
All right. So maybe those things are actually wrong for some deeper, more important reason than just God flipping a coin, let's say, at the beginning of the universe and deciding, okay, this time around, killing is wrong. I mean, maybe somebody doesn't just set the rules. Somebody doesn't just make the decision that something is right or wrong. Maybe it has more to do with its actual consequences and not with a decision that somebody has to make.
All right, well, I actually have to get going soon, but just one more thing that I wanted to say before. All right, you guys are in Texas. I was just wondering, do you guys like meeting like non-hateful Christians and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I hang out with Christians.
Like that, you know, because I actually said to Matt when I was on the show the first time, I'm like, I don't know if you happen to see this, but I said, you want to go to Dairy Queen and have a blizzard?
Well, Dairy Queen wouldn't be my first choice, but I'd go to a nice barbecue place with you.
All right, yeah, I mean, like, you know, just somewhere to sit down and talk. I mean, I care about you guys. I mean, I know I don't know you guys, but I really do care.
All right, well, that's sweet.
We appreciate that.
All right, well,
If you get a chance to look up Euthyphro dilemma, because that goes into that really well. Is something wrong because God says it's wrong, or is there something else to it? And I know you have to run, but it's an interesting question. And Matt did a whole lecture on it, but it's worth thinking about these things. You know, what does it mean for something to be wrong, and what's your standard?
All right, well, I appreciate you guys taking my call.
All right, thanks for calling, Stephen. Look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Thanks,
All right,
Stephen.
thank you.